Welcome to Tennessee Valley this morning. I'm Rob Alderman. With me as always, the Hollywood Slinky who picks a topic, ready, go.
75% of Americans use their smartphone while sitting on the toilet. Do you toilet text?
Of course I do. Listen, there's not enough time in the day as it is. Okay? You have to take every bit of productivity that you can and make the most
But
of
you're
it.
already producing.
Listen, I know a lot of people who would find that to be really disturbing, and they would answer that in the negative, but they're liars. I think that there's only two kinds of people: those who toilet text and those who are lying.
You know, interestingly enough, this survey was done by a company called 11 Mark, and they said that people who use iPhones are the least likely of all of the smartphones to be toilet texting. So for those of you who have iPhones, congratulations, you have less fecal matter on your phone.
Well, apparently that doesn't apply to me and my iPhone. But I feel sophisticated. I get a lot done. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. All right, we got a great show. We got Charlotte Peak Jones is here. We have Patrick Long, the newly named Baron of something at the United Way. Baron of what? Communication processes. Yeah, no, that's Mincy.
It's so hard to tell. You know, it's such
it's
a team effort there.
And we're going to be right back with the big news after this. What a And we're back. You're listening to or watching Tennessee Valley this morning.
You might be listening. You could be doing your makeup or something.
You may be in the bathroom sending some very important text messages and emails.
It could be like Alan Mincy doing your makeup and hair.
We don't know what you're doing. We don't want to know, but it is time for the big news.
Well, as always, the big news comes to us live from the Cleveland Daily Banner.
That's right. I have a subscription to the Cleveland Daily Banner. They deliver it to my doorstep. Well, the middle of my yard. I walk out, I pick it up, I open it up, I read the headlines, and that's what we bring you.
Here we are.
And so today we begin our big news with a scandalous topic, maybe. We don't really know, but the headline for the Cleveland Daily Banner read, The Mysterious Case of Judge Randolph.
Oh, my.
Now, I've never met Mr. Randolph. I'm sure he's a fantastic man. I'm not one to say one way or the other, never having met him. But according to the Cleveland Daily Banner, the TBI is currently investigating Judge Randolph based on unnamed sources, which, by the way, I don't think is fair.
Well, we don't really know what it is they're investigating. They did say that he had a mysterious case. I don't know what's so mysterious about his tractor, but I'm sure that the TBI will get to the bottom of it.
Well, this is the thing that I have to say.
That was hillbilly humor. There's some Polk County viewers who are like, I got that joke. That one right there.
You just alienated us big time, and we go off the air. No, here's the deal. I don't personally think that you should be able to judge the Judge Randolph one way or the other based on an unnamed mysterious source.
Sure.
I'm just saying. That's what I got to say.
He would have gotten away with it if it hadn't been for those wacky kids.
That joke you can tell.
All right.
That joke's okay.
It's a learning curve.
They fix everything in post so that we don't go to jail. The second piece of news is that the county courthouse is getting a facelift on the columns. And this is important stuff here. Apparently there was some structural damage to the columns, so they stripped down the columns.
All the way to the steel.
They fixed the steel. They replaced it. And now that that's done, they are going about the business of painting it.
That's right. But of course, as always, we're going to go live to the field to our roving reporter, Aaron Weatherford. Aaron is live at the courthouse. Aaron?
Aaron, how do things look down there at the courthouse?
They're changing things up.
Now you're painting down there, and normally you're at the chamber getting some work done. But I guess Gary and Nancy have cut. Aaron's lovingly stroking my arm. I like you too, buddy. I like you too. Anyway, you're down there. How would you say progress is going?
They're changing things up.
Back to you. How about some movie news? How about
Sure,
if
we can do some Hollywood news.
This is a train wreck.
I'm a little disturbed.
This is a train wreck. This whole episode.
Well,
Give me some Hollywood news.
Big Hollywood news. The IMAX theaters have announced that on March 23rd, the big new film of the summer, Hunger Games, is going to be shown digitally remastered and projected on the IMAX screens. This is written and directed by a guy named Gary Ross. He did Pleasantville and Seabiscuit, and it stars a bunch of hot, young, upcoming actors.
This is the next Harry Potter, for those of you who haven't heard of this.
It's the first of a trilogy, I believe.
Yeah, it's a trilogy of books that people love that are basically a ripoff of The Running Man.
That's right.
For those of you who remember The Running Man, it's about a bunch of criminals who have to run. And if they stop, they're killed, and they kind of have to find ways to, you know, make each other stop running so that the government will kill them, and the winner goes free. Now, that's based on a book, a short story, actually, by Stephen King called The Running Man, in which it's a lot more like The Hunger Games. In the Running Man book, it's really about poor people who are kind of trying to win their freedom from poverty, and that happens to be exactly the story behind The Hunger Games. So, you know, if you like those two things, you know, check it out, I guess.
That's right.
It's going to be on the big screen.
On the little screen, The Munsters, the classic television show, is being remade. NBC has just announced that they're going to be doing a new series. It's going to be called Mockingbird Lane. If you remember the original Munsters, they lived at 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
Right.
So they're, I guess they are... they are CWing it, is what it sounds like.
What do
that
you
kind
think
of worries
about?
me.
Yeah, but what do you think about this?
Well, I think it's going to be great, and I'll tell you why. It is being produced and put together by Brian Fuller, who did Pushing Daisies, which is incredible.
Yeah, it's a great show.
And it's also being put together by Bryan Singer, who did all of the X-Men movies, with the exception of X-Men 3. But he did X-Men First Class and X-Men 1 and 2.
The good ones.
And those are both great.
X-Men
Those are all
movies.
great. So I think it's going to be quirky and fun, and I think we're going to like it a lot.
Here's the thing that is weird. Now, on TV, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you have kind of two sorts of people. You have Addams Family people, and you have Munster people. Okay? Some people thought the Munsters were hilarious. Some people thought the Addams Family was hilarious. The Addams Family movies were huge. Right. They were gigantic. How do you think this is going to fare against the Addams Family movies?
You know, my fear, with the exception of the two Bryans being attached to it, my fear of this is by calling it Mockingbird Lane, they're separating themselves so much from calling it the Munsters and trying to distance themselves. I'm a little concerned that what we're going to end up seeing is sort of like the Smallville Superman kind of scenario. And I hope that's not the case, because these two Bryans are fantastic, but I don't know. You know, they
haven't released who's going to be in them yet, have
No,
they?
they've not cast, but they're
So that's
really
gonna be a
working
lot
hard.
of it. That's going to be a lot of it.
Yeah, but they're really working hard to separate themselves from the originals. So we'll see.
Slinky, we have some global news.
We do.
We do. Last week, I don't know that we brought anybody global news, but we have two or three pieces of big global news.
Interesting.
We would not leave this out. We hit the local, we hit the Hollywood, now we're going to hit some global.
All right.
Are you ready?
I am.
Later next week, Facebook is going to go public. They're going to be traded on the public market. As such, everybody's shares and stock and value in the company is being released. And today it was on the front page of the news that Zuckerberg, the founder, next week at age 27 will be worth $16.1 billion, putting him in the most wealthy 50 people of all time.
Wow.
And just think, he was sitting alone in a dorm room, minus a date to hang out with, and he created this website, and he's going to be worth $16.1 billion.
I'm actually worth $16.1. So I share some things in common, 3 digits and a decimal
Well, I'll tell you,
point.
this is what's
So
really interesting about this is a lot of people thought it would never go public. But it is. So if you want, next week, you can buy your stock in Facebook if you think it's going to go up. And shares are going to sell for around $25.75 a share. So I encourage you, if you have a few bucks, you may want to go ahead and pick up some Facebook, because they're not going to go away anytime soon. Right. That's probably only going to go up as users increase. Our second piece is political news.
Uh-oh.
Okay? Now, we try to stay away from the politics here, Slinky, but as you know, out there in the world is this thing happening right now called the GOP race, where they're vying for the candidacy to see who's going to run against President Obama.
Right.
And a major blow was struck today when Donald Trump, Donald himself, gave the nod to Mitt Romney. So Donald Trump, who is, as I know it, not anyone in politics, but only famous on TV, has said he is supporting Mitt Romney.
Do we know what his net worth is?
The Donald, I don't know.
It'd be interesting to compare
I don't know what the
Donald
Donald's net worth is, but I bet he's staring up at Zuckerberg.
Maybe.
I don't think the Donald's worth $16.1 billion, but he's worth enough that apparently saying that he supports Mitt Romney will get him on the front page of the newspaper. You know, and our final piece of news is as you head into this weekend, there's one thing on everyone's mind, or at least on most people's minds, and that is that it is Super Bowl Sunday.
That's right.
And this is the Giants versus the Patriots. And, you know, neither of those teams did anybody think were going to make it, you know. But I think both those teams beat the Miami Dolphins. Am I right on that, Joe?
Who, Joe Bubba?
Did both those teams beat the Miami Dolphins?
Nobody beat the Miami Dolphins in 1972.
Anyway,
but strangely
enough, the Miami Dolphins not playing in the Super Bowl, but the Giants and the Patriots are playing in the Super Bowl. So what's your pick? Slinky, most people don't know this about you, but you are a sports fanatic.
I am a huge sports fan. Who was playing again?
It is the Patriots and the Giants.
Okay. All right, well, I would say that I would probably have to go with the Washington Patriots.
That sounds good. Slinky's pick, Patriots. My pick, Giants. And that's it for the big news.
That's it. All right.
We are going to be right back when we interview.
We need to introduce our friend here.
Yes, we do. This thing you've seen me messing with is Mr. Clock. He's going to keep us on track.
And on schedule.
And so when he says it's time to go to break, that's what we do. So
he says it's time to go to break.
It's time to go to break. Mr. Clock, we trust him. You trust us. You're watching Tennessee Valley This Morning.
We'll be right back.
I'm Kathy Guy with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Call us today for all your personal insurance needs. With 28 years in the insurance business, I have the solutions and pricing you are looking for. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
Hi, I'm Brittany Jackson. Join me every Wednesday night at 6:30 and midnight where we will highlight local sports, chat with coaches, and discover new tips every week. Only on In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson.
How would you like to look and feel better? If so, then visit the Ford Center for Anti-Aging, located at 2020 Key Street Northwest. Dr. Ford has been serving Cleveland and the surrounding area since 1984. He is a licensed physician with the Board of Anti-Aging Medicine, offering affordable Botox injections. Botox is a medication that is used to treat dynamic wrinkles such as crow's feet, forehead lines, and frown lines. In addition to Botox therapy, rejuvenate and smooth wrinkled skin. The micro laser peel treats skin conditions associated with aging and active lifestyles. If you're looking for safe and affordable anti-aging treatment, call the Ford Center for Anti-Aging at 423-614-0535, located at 2020 Key Street Northwest.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley This Morning's Friday Lights, Camera, Cleveland edition. I'm the Hollywood Slinky. With me is Rob Alderman, and with him is Charlotte Peak Jones and her teddy bear.
We have Whitney Lawson.
Whitney is sort of like the security blanket.
That is correct. We have Whitney Lawson and we have Charlotte Peak Jones, and we're here today to talk to you ladies about case developments and some of the other businesses and things that you have going on here all around Cleveland City and the Bradley County area. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's tough being up this early, isn't it?
Tell you what.
We were just talking about how hard it was to get up at 6:30 for this show every single Friday morning.
If I didn't drink a pot of coffee before right now, I would be completely asleep.
It's true,
without a doubt. So tell us a little bit about Case.
Case developments and construction.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Or is it Case Construction and Developments?
What is Case? I see Case everywhere. I see Case. I'll see like the little signs in people's yards. What does Case stand for?
Keith and Charlotte Enterprises.
So you've got Keith with you here.
This is Whitney.
And
She takes care of everything that I don't take care of,
now,
which is a lot.
I've actually met Keith, and he would much rather be working on the homes and things than be on this TV show.
Exactly.
I can't figure out why, by the way. Maybe
me
next
neither.
week we'll just have Keith.
Maybe.
We'll get the real scoop with Keith. So tell us, how long have you owned Case Construction and Developments?
Since '95, we build houses. We have rental houses, rental properties, and tile installation. We also hang wallpaper.
Now you have that's a separate business though, right? Don't you also do Charlotte's wallpaper?
4 separate businesses,
4.
and they're all under the Case umbrella.
All right, well, what are the
I
other
can
2?
barely run one.
Charlotte's Wallpaper Installation, Keith's Tile Company, and Case Rental Properties, and then you have Case Construction and Development.
Wow.
Why wouldn't you just call it Case Development, Wallpaper, and Tile?
Did you hear yourself say it? Didn't sound too good.
Well, you've got some notes. You
well-
want to ask some questions. Ryan's got serious questions. We want answers.
You are the Southeastern Area Vice President of the Home Builders Association of Tennessee.
Yes.
What does that mean?
We don't even know. What do you guys do?
What does HBAT do?
That's right.
The Home Builders Association of Tennessee lobbies for people to have accessibility to affordable homes. In a nutshell, that's what we do. We go to Nashville on a regular basis. We monitor the bills that are pushing through and make sure that they are good to builders, good to families, and don't hinder anybody from getting a home.
Well, my question is that full of intrigue like we see in the movies? You know, you're spending a lot of time in the government, and are there like shady lawyers trying to take you out all the time and, you know, like spies and intrigue?
No,
Because
not
somebody
really.
tried
It's
to
boring.
raise the rates too high or something?
No, a little bit boring.
That's kind of disappointing.
Okay, well, let's
All right,
move
well,
on.
maybe
You got
the next
more.
one.
You
All
got
right,
more.
You're a board member for the Habitat of Humanity of Tennessee.
Yes, state board.
Is there intrigue or excitement in that?
Our clock keeps turning off.
It's
Mr.
okay.
Clock.
I mean, he's not really turning off, but
He's
you know,
still here. He's with us. He's just
I got to figure out how to make.
Keeps
it's
going
his
to sleep.
first time.
It's time saver.
He's shy. It's his first time.
It goes off.
Yeah.
So what do you do with you're on the state board for Habitat of Humanity in Tennessee?
Do the same thing that we do at HBAT.
Boy, that question didn't really work.
It didn't really go.
Yeah.
That question didn't work too well.
We're both lobbying for the same opportunities for home owners. Affordable.
Have you ever said to them, "Look, I already own Case Wallpaper, Tile, and Construction. Why don't we put these 2 organizations together as well?"
We have, but
think the people of
Habitat for
Tennessee want
Humanity is
answers.
Habitat for Humanity is its own entity, and it's a nonprofit that does a different level. Home Builders Association of Tennessee lobbies for home builders that are actually making money for profit. Habitat for Humanity is lobbying for the same bills, but they are lobbying for people that
Gotcha.
can get a home much cheaper.
Gotcha. Well, now, speaking of Habitat for Humanity, that's actually how you and I met. And Ryan, that's how I think you met Charlotte as well. A lot of people met you right around April 27th when the tornadoes came through town. And of course, there was destruction everywhere. We've talked about it on this show plenty. You know, Dan's talked about it. Everybody's talked about it. We won't stop talking about it anytime soon. But in particular, could you share with us a little bit of your story? Did you have you made a little.
I was just go.
Okay. 3 weeks after the storm, for 3 weeks after the storm, we quit production on everything we had. We stopped working, and we went with Habitat for Humanity out and assessed neighborhoods, helped fix roofs, helped do everything for about 3 weeks, cut trees, move trees. In the process, that's how I met Whitney, and that's how she came to work for me.
Well, now the 2 of you both have kind of personal tornado stories too, right?
Yes.
Because Whitney, your parents lost their house, correct?
They didn't lose it. They just had lots of damage.
Okay. And you were actually in it and watched some cars topple, right?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us where you were and what you saw?
I think it was the 5th tornado of the night or 4th tornado. I was on 64 Highway.
What a sad day that is when you have to classify
you have to
it by
classify it.
which one
On
it was.
64 Highway, we were going towards Ocoee. We were trying to go home. We were been checking properties, and the tornado that came through Bates Point was coming up was going beside of us on 64. We got to the Jackie Evans red light,
Right.
and it disappeared from in front of us. And we continued through it and saw a truck in front of us start to topple. We just slammed on the brakes, put it in reverse, and tried to go backwards, and just kept going in reverse, and barely went in reverse. But we saw it come across the hill at Willbrook.
Well, that was, I think, you know, in what I saw, you know, the one that hit Lead Mine Valley Road, of course, was something else, and the one that hit Willbrook was something else. So as far as damage, you know, you saw a lot of the major damage. How did that affect you?
It was pretty emotional. Working with and in the community during those next 3 weeks gave me a more passionate heart for them, and all I wanted to do was just help people.
Right. Whitney, what about you? Were you at your parents' house when the tornadoes came through?
We were across the street in my basement.
Were you? What was that like?
Very scary. Could
You're
hear
probably
it.
gonna
We
have to talk
watched it,
louder, though.
Actually, we watched it go across.
Yeah.
It was scary. I mean, it seemed like it lasted a lot longer than it did. Like 10 seconds felt like 10 minutes.
And is that what is this whole incident, this whole scenario? Is that what prompted you to start working with Case, with
Yes.
Charlotte, and you know, the tornado?
I probably would have
efforts?
never met her if it hadn't have happened.
We were volunteering in her
Yes.
yard.
So, and now look at that.
I know.
That turned into a job for you.
And didn't you meet her at Lead Mine?
I met her at Lead Mine Valley Road. That's right. My brother and I, you know, I'm on the long-term recovery organization board, and we came out and they said that they were going to give you a plaque to honor you for some of the work that you'd been doing, and we were breaking ground there actually that day. And I just invited my brother Kenny, who's a contractor here in town, and I said, "Do you want to see what one of these things is like?" He said, "You know, yeah, I want to come out and see what it's like with the press and everybody there." So we came out, and he hopped out of the truck and he said, "Hey, I know them. That's Keith and Charlotte," and he just walked right up on the job site and started working with your folks. So, you know,
He made it in the
that's how-
banner.
What's that?
He made it in the banner.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
I didn't even know that.
From that job.
Yeah.
Now, Case Construction's been involved in doing some rebuilds for people who've lost their houses, right?
Yes.
Would you like to tell us about that?
Through the LTRO, they give out the houses to be built. Habitat for Humanity and I partnered to do 3 of them.
So how many are left? I know you guys have finished
I'm not
some.
sure how many they have left. We have 1 left that we're trying to get the footers out of the ground currently. The rain has hindered that.
Well, when you look around Bradley County and all the damage and things that happened, how do you think that we're all progressing as a community? I mean, as you drive around, obviously there are a lot of builders out there doing what you do. There's a lot of people that have really jumped in to help their neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see? What's your takeaway from
Bradley
the tornadoes?
County is blessed beyond measure. I think the LTRO being organized right out of the gate, right out of the get-go, kind of knowing they got feedback from everybody on how to get that started. I think that really helped Bradley County rebuild. But mostly, I think it was neighbors helping neighbors.
Right.
And Bradley County's known for that. Everybody
Sure.
helps everybody.
Well, I know that you and Keith and Whitney, you guys have a great name. Case has a great name for helping people, just like so many other people in Bradley County that just, you know, we never would have known about.
Right.
So many people that none of us would have known about if it hadn't been for those tornadoes. And now, you know, we all came together on this cause. I know the entire community, the entire county, and it's just been amazing.
That's right.
So
Well, we are about to go to break, but before we do that, we're going to ask you the 4 questions
right.
we ask everybody.
we ask every guest these 4 questions.
So the first question is, what do you think is your favorite movie ever made?
Shawshank
We
Redemption.
did this together.
What's yours?
You did this together?
We
Oh,
did
what
this
is so? This
together.
is your combined.
Yeah,
this is
combined
like-
efforts here.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best movie ever made?
Did we not just say that one? What did we say?
That was best. You want
That was the
favorite?
best.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite? What's your favorite movie?
Favorite? Well, I say Elf, but she says Titanic.
I say Titanic.
All right. What movie have you seen more times than any other?
Forrest Gump.
Baby Boom.
I don't even know that movie.
I don't either.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Baby Boom?
Yes.
I don't know. We'll look it up. You'll have a review next week. on Baby Boom.
All right. And then what do you think is the funniest movie ever made?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes.
That's a good choice.
Good choice. What do you say, Whitney?
I'm not sure on that one.
Not
You
Elf?
then you need to go home and watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off again because it's fantastic.
It's true.
Okay, I will.
Well, Charlotte and Whitney, thank you for being with us on the show. We appreciate you and everything you've been doing in the community, and we will be right back with Patrick Long from the United Way after this.
How would you like to look and feel better? If so, then visit the Ford Center for Anti-Aging, located at 2020 Key Street Northwest. Dr. Ford has been serving Cleveland and the surrounding area since 1984. He is a licensed physician with the Board of Anti-Aging Medicine, offering affordable Botox injections. Botox is a medication that is used to treat dynamic wrinkles such as crow's feet, forehead lines, and frown lines. In addition to Botox therapy, rejuvenate and smooth wrinkled skin. The micro laser peel treats skin conditions associated with aging and active lifestyles. If you're looking for safe and affordable anti-aging treatment, call the Ford Center for Anti-Aging at 423-614-0535, located at 2020 Key Street Northwest.
I'm Byron Winters with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Contact me for all of your business insurance needs. From general liability to workers' comp, commercial auto, and business umbrellas, Landmark Insurance has you covered.
Hi, I'm Brittany Jackson. Join me every Wednesday night at 6:30 and midnight where we will highlight local sports, chat with coaches, and discover new tips every week. Only on In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley this morning. We are now being joined by Patrick Long. Patrick, you're the Vice President of Community Impact for the United Way of Bradley County.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually lobbied for Vice President of everything that is awesome, but Matt said that was his title, so Community Impact is where I'm at.
Is Matt aware, though, that he's wrong? I've seen his show. Have you seen his TV show? I'm just saying.
Been on it once or twice.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Patrick.
Yes, sir.
As we launch into this segment,
yeah,
we do have to ask, though. You know, several weeks ago, we called Matt Ryerson the Tim Tebow of Cleveland. He is the not so local boy does good.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, he is the white knight.
He is.
He is the guy that everybody loves to love.
Absolutely.
So when he was succeeded Brenda, who everybody loved to love, that kind of puts you in a sticky situation.
Yeah, sure. It's like following Jesus. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty difficult.
That's right.
He turns water into wine. I just turn water into water, and so it's not really.
But, there goes the Bradley County.
Yeah, now we're not sweating it. Now we're not sweating it anymore.
Everybody's gone.
Now I know that you were born.
Our final show.
He was born in Charleston, South Carolina. What do you expect?
Well, it kind of shows. You know what? Here's the thing.
No,
it
sure.
Shows. People from Charleston, South Carolina have like a thing.
We do?
Yeah,
oh,
you
okay.
do. Here's the deal. I'm going to tell you a little secret.
All right.
I used to be in a band. You wondered how.
What was the name of this band?
That is inconsequential. But what you do need to know is that we traveled to Charleston, South Carolina, to play shows at a little club that was right down on the main university.
A Christian
place.
club.
Read
the Bible and.
I don't think it was.
Okay.
I don't think it was. It was a rock and roll place.
Oh wow. Okay.
But so we spent a lot of time in Charleston. Now you know this Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Do you know that movie? Good movie, Kevin Spacey. You ever seen it?
No.
You should.
Okay.
It takes place in Charleston, South Carolina.
Right.
And I got to tell you, of every movie that was ever set somewhere, that movie reflects Charleston, South Carolina more than any. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're there, there's like this creepy. There's like a southern genteelness, but like kind of almost a bayou.
Sure.
And there's kudzu.
Yeah, there is kudzu.
Everywhere.
No, yeah.
There's kudzu.
Kudzu is
everywhere.
like Steve Hartline. It covers everything.
So you were born and raised?
You can't kill it.
Not really. No. I lived there till I was 8. My dad was in the military, so we kind of pinged around a lot. Lived there. Lived in Louisiana for a little while. Went to Mardi Gras a couple of times. Was little. Caught some beads.
Where were you when you found out about the opening at United Way? How did that come about?
Yeah, no. I was here, have been here for about 7 years, graduated from Lee, working on a master's at UTC, and got married, graduated, and bought a house. And so we've been in Cleveland for 7 years. It's the longest I've ever
What were you doing before you went to
anywhere,
United Way?
Before I went to United Way, I was working for an organization in Chattanooga called On Point. And we worked with kids, told them not to stab people or, get pregnant or sell drugs, things like that.
Very good advice.
Yeah, little
So it was
things.
a natural step into United Way, which funds places like On Point, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, And all I've ever, I guess my experience is limited to nonprofit work. I've never, worked anywhere else, and so.
Well, we could, it would be easy, mostly because we're all friends with Matt Ryerson and Alan Mincy, to laugh and to joke around a lot about United Way. But I think it's important that we do talk about how serious the organization is about helping this community. I know you guys have big things coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You guys really do strive to do right by the community. Mm-hmm. I know that there's been a major focus on showing donors where their dollars are going,
Mm-hmm.
how they're helping people out. Why don't you tell us and tell the people at home a bit about what United Way's got going on right now? What are you excited about?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that's really exciting about the direction that the United Way is headed is that for a long time in the nonprofit sector, we've been looking at social problems like there was a cure for them. So, we've been looking at, say, high school dropout, and we go, well, we could just find this one magic program, like the cure for cancer. We'll end dropout, or we'll end, whatever social ill there kind of is. And one of the things that we're really excited about is this movement called collective impact. And it's about, a rising tide lifts all boats. And so if we can get everybody moving in the same direction, then that's where we start really making progress on social issues. And so one of the things that we are moving towards at the United Way is, we've always funded programs, and on some level we will always fund programs. But the exciting thing is, these initiatives that we've kind of got going on, we've got a couple of things in the works, and we really want to start pulling people together to start, tackling education-related issues or healthcare-related issues or, housing. We were really excited about this potential kind of neighborhood revitalization project that we're talking about. Still very much in the planning stages, but how can we go into a community and fix housing needs and social needs and healthcare needs? These are the things that we're really excited about addressing.
What you're talking about is on a massive scale.
Yes.
This is huge. We made a lot of fun of Matt coming in and the way he talked about building on everything Brenda had done. Mm-hmm. But I think if we had Brenda in here, and I hope we do have Brenda in here because I love Brenda.
Yeah.
We need to find out how retired Brenda is doing. Bring her in here to talk about retirement. But the thing is, it would be impossible to move forward. I think Brenda would agree. You have to build and build and build. And she is, of course, she has, gotten United Way to a certain level, and now I think she's challenging Matt. Hey, take this thing farther, take it bigger. But what you guys are proposing, this is massive. How do you go about getting that kind of community involvement?
Man, that's a good question, and I'll let you know when we figure it out. I think that there's a lot of stuff out there when you really start digging. There are people who do this really well, and we're trying to kind of build on that. But you have to have a shared agenda. That's one of the things we've all kind of got to come to the table and drop, whatever it is that we're pushing. And we have to, I think we have to sacrifice our own personal interest or organizational interest even for the greater good. And I think that's the first thing we have to do is get everybody to the table with a shared vision of the direction that this thing is moving. And that by itself could take a long time to do.
What would you say now? You're new. You're like the new kid.
Yeah, like a baby, really,
on the block,
an infant.
There. If you had to describe the United Way, but they were the A team.
Sure.
Who's who?
Well, obviously, I think Matt's Mr. T.
Clearly.
But and he wears the gold chains a lot, so that really helps.
Right.
And that's really the only guy off the A team I know.
What's Alan Mincy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Green Lantern.
That's true. That's true. Alan Mincy is like Green Lantern. Who do you think, Ryan? What do you think?
I think
our young man here is kind of fumbling with this. Okay, ready? United Way. Wait, United Way, A team, go.
I think that, all right, we're going to go ahead and
United Way A-Team go.
We're going to go ahead and let Matt remain as B.A. Baracus. I think that that's appropriate.
It's because he gets in and he's kind of like, I pity the fool. He doesn't let anybody mess with the A-Team.
That's right. I think that Patrick here is clearly face because he comes in, he looks pretty, he says a whole bunch of stuff, but really said nothing.
Look at those shoes. Yeah. Look at those shoes.
Yeah, they're real shiny.
Yeah, you've got nice shoes and Argyle socks. He is clearly face man.
Right, and I think that
here to impress.
You know, in a strange way, I kind of think that maybe Alan is sort of like
Murdoch.
Murdoch, you know, Mad Dog Murdoch.
I think he is too because he's
like
piloting
the helicopter.
Yeah, he's kind of like the mad genius.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think of Alan as the mad genius?
Oh, definitely. He's in his office with like formulas, mixing things up. Stuff's exploding sometimes.
That's what I'm talking about. And then I think that even though she retired, at the end of the day, that makes Brenda, even though she's not there anymore, she's Hannibal.
Right.
She's the one who sits there when it's all done and says, I love it when a plan comes together.
Absolutely.
That sort of thing. So, you know, Brenda, you'll never really be gone from the United Way.
The old Princess Theater is really sort of their van.
Yeah. That's
it is, absolutely.
That's like your van.
Yeah. Well, listen, I have actually a really serious question for you.
Yes, sir.
You were quoted in the Cleveland Daily Banner,
this is big.
News source of everything, that you said, quote, "What does Vice President of Community Impact mean? To me, I think my role here is that I get to serve people." So my question is, will you go get us dinner?
Yeah, absolutely.
And serve us?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to pay for mine too, I think, but I'm there. And I work at a nonprofit, so I can only get you like Taco Bell, but...
That's fair. Lucky for you, Slinky loves.
I do happen to love.
Dude,
so I want to know about Bike to Build.
Tell us about Bike to Build.
I want to know about Bike to Build.
Bike to Build. What's happening in the nonprofit sector? It's
Bike to Build is happening, Patrick. Tell us about it. Stop stalling.
I do want to say something. I want to say something real quick.
You always want to say something.
Here it is. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're so rude.
I know.
You're hateful.
I am.
You're hateful and rude.
It's true. I get it from Matt.
Here's the deal. I want to talk about what a nice young man this is because Charlotte was going to talk about Bike to Build, and she got up and she was like, "Oh, I forgot to talk about Bike to Build." And in a very servant manner, he took the paperwork out of her hand and he said, "I'll talk about Bike to Build." So, you know, I mean, because isn't that a Habitat for Humanity thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so here we got the United Way guy talking about Habitat for Humanity's Bike to Build. Tell us about it.
You know, we're just here to help people, just being salt and light. Bike to Build is a fundraiser the Habitat does. I think this year their goal is $80,000. They want to build 2 houses with the money they raised from Bike to Build. And it's on Saturday, April the 21st. And basically you just register as a rider. You can register as a team. I think the price to register, the early bird price, which expires on February the 15th, is $35 to register
you don't have
as
much
an individual
time
rider.
To get,
no, man.
Get in.
It's coming up. But so that's what's going on there. I don't know exactly. There's a couple of different lengths for the course. I'm not sure how long the bike
is. There a website?
Is. There is a website. I think
what would that be?
You can just go to Habitat for Humanity's website. It's habitatcleveland.org.
Look at that. He's on it.
He is killing it.
You have 4 questions for this young man.
I have 4 questions for you.
Before you go,
ready.
You've got 4 questions.
All right, the first question then is, what do you think is the best movie ever made?
Man, I love Braveheart. Just want to like paint my face blue.
There's no right or wrong answer.
You know, Alan Mency sometimes paints his face blue and goes as Braveheart for the Relay for Life.
That's true.
And he goes around the square and he's like freedom from cancer.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
All right, second question is, what is your favorite movie ever made?
You can judge me for it if you want to.
And we will.
But I love The Emperor's New Groove. I just need to feel good. I need to laugh. Little David Spade act. I mean, I just think The Emperor's New Groove is where it's at for me.
Can you do one of the songs for us right now?
There aren't really songs in The Emperor's New Groove. It's comedic gold is what it is.
Who's your favorite character? Kronk?
Yeah, I like Kronk.
Is he your favorite though?
I mean, what's the llama's name? I like Cusco. I like Cusco. Cusco. And there's a dance that goes.
I never would have seen that one coming.
All right, okay.
I thought you were.
We had to go out and buy it.
More of a Breakfast at Tiffany's guy.
Oh, I don't know how to feel about that, but okay.
Anyway, go ahead. Next question.
Feel breakfasty?
Yeah,
I do.
Next question.
What do you think is the movie you have seen more than any other?
A movie I've seen more than any other. Man, Well, I've watched Mean Girls a lot. I don't know.
That's a good one.
All right.
I like Mean Girls.
All right.
I've seen that one a lot.
I don't know why I've seen it so much because I don't.
It's like one of those. You know how there are a few different movies that always seem like they're on.
Yeah.
Like it's on a bunch of stations and it's on all hours of day or night. There you go.
Or A Christmas Story. I've seen that.
It's like Scrubs. Scrubs is always on.
I've seen Iron Eagle more than any movie ever.
Sure.
Yeah.
The original.
All right. Then the last question is, what movie do you think is the funniest movie ever made?
Funniest movie ever made. Well, this might get me in trouble, but I watched a lot of Anchorman at one point in my life.
Right.
I don't know if that'll get you in trouble.
I mean, I kind of love Anchorman.
It's not going to get you in trouble on this show.
That's the Dan Howell biopic. For those of you at home who've not seen it, it's fantastic.
It is about the life and times of Dan Howell. We recommend that you go to Redbox and you get it right now. It's called Anchorman. Will Ferrell plays the part of Dan Howell. It's post Dan and Dan days. But yeah, you need to check it out.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a funny one.
That's a good one. It's a good one.
Well, that's it for Patrick Long of the United Way. Patrick, we thank you for being on the show.
Hey, thanks, fellas.
Thanks for spending some time with us. And we will be right back to give you your preview review as you head into the weekend. You're watching Tennessee Valley this week.
Hi, I'm Brittany Jackson. Join me every Wednesday night at 6:30 and midnight where we will highlight local sports, chat with coaches, and discover new tips every week. Only on In the Spotlight with Brittany Jackson.
How would you like to look and feel better? If so, then visit the Ford Center for Anti-Aging, located at 2020 Key Street Northwest. Dr. Ford has been serving Cleveland and the surrounding area since 1984. He is a licensed physician with the Board of Anti-Aging Medicine, offering affordable Botox injections. Botox is a medication that is used to treat dynamic wrinkles such as crow's feet, forehead lines, and frown lines. In addition to Botox therapy, rejuvenate and smooth wrinkled skin. The micro-laser peel treats skin conditions associated with aging and active lifestyles. If you're looking for safe and affordable anti-aging treatment, call the Ford Center for Anti-Aging at 423-614-0535, located at 2020 Key Street Northwest.
I'm Wes Robbins with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. When it comes to employee benefits, we've got you covered. Call me today for the best service and best solutions to your group health and employee benefits needs. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
And we're back. You're watching Tennessee Valley this morning. And now we get to the segment that we're actually halfway decent at doing. We're learning, really. And that's kind of part of this. But we are going to get into what we call the preview review. Ryan, why don't you tell people how the preview review works?
Well, the preview review is the part of the show where we review movies, tell you if you should see them or not, or if we're going to see them not. And it's all based on the previews.
That's right. We have not seen these movies.
But we have seen the trailers.
That's right. The movies come out today. And we're going to tell you whether or not you should see them. We've seen the trailers. We've read things about them. And based on that, we judge them.
That's right. And judge them we will, just like we judged Patrick a few minutes ago.
He did good. Didn't you think he was pretty good? Right. You know, I thought he did pretty good. No, anyway.
Well, you know, it's so hard to tell. Everything we do here really, we do as a team. It's a team effort. Much like at the United Way.
Very similar.
Well, the first movie, what is it?
It's The Woman in Black.
Ooh.
I know, this one's a big one this weekend. It stars Daniel Radcliffe and Ciarán Hinds.
Now, Daniel Radcliffe, of course, is Harry Potter.
That's right. This is a scary period piece.
That's right.
Done in the 1800s.
It kind of looks like a Legend of Sleepy Hollow kind of film almost.
Right.
You know? But it's a ghost story. So, and my wife is really excited about this. She is a big fan of ghost stories. She loves The Others. She loves Poltergeist and all those. and she is really kind of riding me about making sure that we definitely see this film.
Yeah, you know, in this movie, Daniel Radcliffe plays a young man who has been called upon to travel to an estate that is now finally being for sale. And the estate is old, it's broken down, there's weeds everywhere, and Daniel Radcliffe's character, his job is to travel and kind of make sure that all the affairs are finally settled there. And in order to do that, he's got to do a house assessment.
Right.
And so he comes into the house, and even though all the locals don't want him to go in there, nobody wants him to go near this place, because he is our young hero, what's he do?
He goes!
He goes in this place, and that is when hijinks ensues.
That's right. Now this one actually looks like it could be scary. It's lit well, you know, it's got a good eerie sort of look to it. And Daniel Radcliffe, you know, say what you will about the Harry Potter movies, the one thing you can't say about it is that all of the kids in that movie have really grown into being great actors.
They have. You know, every time you read about Daniel Radcliffe in general, he is constantly talking about how he takes the craft so seriously. People who talk about him say he lives, eats, sleeps, breathes acting. He talks to people that are much older than him, that have been in the business. He asks them for their tips and their tricks. He spends time with them in order to make himself a better actor. And it really shows in this film. You know, I once saw a documentary on Harry Potter, and it had the very first director. I don't remember his name right now, but he was talking about how they had cast everyone but Harry Potter, and I don't remember if he was on a plane or he was on a train, but he said that he's sitting there, and all of a sudden he sees this little boy, and it's like that kid's got the it. And it turned out that Daniel Radcliffe's parents had actually already been kind of part of the process of trying, you know, they'd already said at his school, like, yes, come out. And so kind of behind the scenes, he'd already been trying out for the part.
And had been cut, hadn't he?
Yes, and the director saw it and said he has an it factor. Well, he does. You know, whenever you read about his plays, and of course he did Equus, which was very, obviously the plot is very adult, we'll say that, and he appeared not fully clothed in that play, but all of the reviews of Equus said he was fantastic in it. Whatever he does, he has that sort of it star factor, and it is apparent in the trailer, because when you see him, it's like everyone else just goes away.
Right.
Even when he's just standing there, even when he's not doing anything.
That's right. Well, I've got to tell you, for this one, between my wife's desire to see it and how it looks, I've got to grade it. How about you?
Well, I'm giving this film a grade as well. When I first saw the trailer, the very first trailer was a really quick teaser that they put out, but now I've seen like the minute 30, and it looks amazing. Originally, it was just a bunch of pictures with the people's eyes burned out, and it looked really low budget. Now it actually looks the opposite to me. It looks really high budget. It's not easy to get everybody into authentic period piece, and it kind of reminds me, I think, of course, the famous George C. Scott film, The Changeling.
Sure.
That's if I had to pick the mood. So for those of you who are into horror movies, the one thing I'd say, I'm going to give it a grade, but I'm going to give it is that it's a PG-13 film. And so historically, PG-13 horror films are kind of high on the cheese factor and not terribly good.
Right.
I'm just saying. I know there's a lot of people that don't want to go see an R-rated film. I respect that. But in the horror film genre, when it's a PG-13, it normally means that the best stuff got left on the cutting room
floor. Well, the next one is The Big Miracle. This one stars John Krasinski, who is, of course, from The Office.
Right.
And it also stars Drew Barrymore, who, of course, was from every Drew Barrymore film ever made.
That's right.
This is a true story about a group of gray whales in Alaska, I believe.
Barrow, Alaska.
And they are trapped. They have been iced into the cove where they are at. And this little boy decides that he needs to help get these whales to freedom, to the open ocean. And the way they do that is they gather up all of the people in the community, and they come out with their chainsaws, and they cut holes every 100 yards in the ice for the whales to come up and take breaths. And so this is sort of like a modern day kind of Free Willy.
Now this is the kind of film, when they say it's a true story, you wonder how true.
Right.
Okay? The trailer, I'm going to tell you the truth.
Tell me the truth.
I watched this based on the poster and who's in it. I thought, ugh. All right? Blah. And then it comes on, and there's these huge sweeping visuals of the Arctic ice, and Drew Barrymore kissing a whale, and the other guy saying, you know, he's a newspaper reporter, the guy from The Office, and he's saying, maybe Barrow has one good story left in it. And Coldplay is playing in the background with some sort of piano-driven rock music. Yeah, and then we're going to sing, keep singing. We're going to save the whales. We can do it. And then Drew Barrymore is like, it was always meant to be this way. Yeah. And then there's like, you know, as the Coldplay music plays, the people start walking with their chainsaws because, of course, and then there's even this scene right at the end of the trailer where there's some captain, and he's famous too. I wish I could remember who he is. And he's like in a boat, in one of these icebreaker boats, and someone over the radio says, the only boat capable of breaking through the ice at this point is a Russian boat that'll have to come out. And he turns to his team and he says, I'm not going to let some Russians set those whales free. So everything about it I want to hate, except I kind of was like, oh. Well, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, and so you want it to be real. Like, I think I wanted that to happen in real life.
Right.
I don't know what really happened.
Yeah.
I think probably in real life.
Folks,
you know,
the guys who made Big Miracle, they had me at Drew Barrymore and they lost me at Coldplay. I gotta hate it. Sorry, I can't do it.
For me,
there's a level of cheese. There's a level of cheese there that I'm just not able to deal with.
But now, be honest with this. The cheese doesn't come through the trailer, does it? It's just that you know it's there. That's what I struggled with.
It comes through the trailer when the Coldplay music starts.
Yeah, about halfway through. Right. Halfway through when all of a sudden they go, they'll never make it. Yeah, so you give it a hate.
I give it a hate. What about you?
Well, you know what? I'm going to go with the famous, ever used on this show, I hate it, but Dan is going to love it.
Dan is going to love it.
Daniel Howell, former host of this show, is probably already in line with his tickets.
He's camping out at the rave right now.
Here's what I think about this film. The film is PG, so it's safe. I think a lot of people are going to want to take their kids to see this. I think Rusty would probably like it. He's really into like National Geographic right now and stuff like that. And I will say the cinematography looks absolutely amazing. For me, I give it a hate because I'm not certain how true it is, and that kind of bugs me. Like, how could this be that epic and us never have heard of it before?
Right.
So anyway, up next is The Innkeepers.
That's right. The Innkeepers is the other ghost story that is happening this week.
That's right.
The Innkeepers stars Sarah Paxton and Kelly McGillis. I don't know if you remember Kelly McGillis from many, many years ago, but she's kind of a big star in the 70s.
Yeah.
Did a lot of ABC Family TV movies.
Right.
But anyway, The Innkeepers is the story about an abandoned inn. And it's about to be abandoned. I'm sorry. It's the final days of this inn being open, and the servants are all packing and closing it up and getting ready to go. And that's when mysterious things start to happen. Basically, all of the dead people from the history of this inn, who ever stayed there and then died, they all start to come back to stay at the inn.
Because it's closing.
It's
closing time.
That's the only thing this trailer misses.
You don't have to go home.
Closing time.
But you can't stay here. What do you think? What do you think about it?
I'm gonna hate it. Look, I've only got room with the skeleton in my closet to see one ghost story, and it's gonna be The Woman in Black. So you know, part of this movie for me. Partly it's ruined because it's coming out the same week as The Woman in Black, and it's going to be so much better. And part of it, for me, is just that it doesn't star anybody. It doesn't look like it's well made. It just doesn't look good, and so I've got to hate it. My money's in The Woman in Black.
Well, here's the thing on The Innkeepers. The Innkeepers, for me, just feels tired. Like, The Woman in Black adds this whole... like the Radcliffe element of closing out the estate. Even that is weird.
Right.
Like even the idea that he's not some big hero, he's like an accountant that's just coming, you know.
Sure.
This whole thing, though, this reminds me of House on a Haunted Hill. This reminds me of all those films.
It just feels cheaper.
I feel like this film is going to be gross. That's what I worry about with this movie. I worry about the gross factor. I don't typically get into horror movies, as you know. I am going to see The Woman in Black, but I'm not going to see this film. I have to give this film a hate. I give this film a hate for several different reasons. But the number one reason that I give this film a hate is that nothing about the trailer, nothing about it, seems like it's going to draw me in. It's never interesting even for a second. And I can think of tons of horrible movies that at least...
And you can't even cling to the idea, well, it's got that one actor I like from that other movie. Because it doesn't.
It doesn't. It
He's
doesn't
not
have
in
anybody.
this
It
one.
doesn't have anybody. Well, let's get on to the last one that we're gonna talk about. And this one, I'm excited to talk about. This is Chronicle.
That's right.
Chronicle stars a couple of people you don't know. Dane DeHaan and Alex Russell. And this film, I'm going to take the lead on this one for a second because it has one element of it that I know you hate. I'm not saying you're going to give the film a hate.
Sure.
This film, unfortunately, everybody, is a lost footage, found footage
film
film.
is what they call it, yeah.
I want to say to Hollywood, because I know that everybody's watching this. I know that the people out in Hollywood, they get up super early, they watch this show.
You know, one of our biggest fans is Travis Beacham.
Right, local boy does good.
Celebrity screenwriter.
And he watches this all the time.
And forwards everything we say to the studio execs.
And so studio execs, here's what I have to say. Stop. Stop with the found footage. In this film, you essentially have found footage of these kids as something happens to them. You're not sure what because the trailer stops before you can find out exactly what it is. But it happens in a tunnel and it's down in the earth and it gives them superpowers. Okay, we're not certain what all the superpowers are. We know one of the kids at least has like some sort of an invulnerability thing because he gets stabbed with a fork and the fork bends.
Right.
Another one
has telekinesis.
Has telekinesis and can move things around. And the other one appears to like exhibit some sort of like a force type thing around him. And I think that what is so disturbing to me about this film is so much of the trailer looks cool to me. If only it wasn't that. What do you think?
Well,
what do you think about it?
I'm going to actually defend the found footage part of this film for a moment.
Okay. I'm interested. I want to hear.
I read something that changed my mind.
Okay.
I read a review of this film where they said, and for those of you who hate found footage films, know this. And what this article said was that about a third of the way through the movie, the kid that's got telekinesis, he's the one making the documentary. And so he gets several cameras and uses his telekinesis to float them all around. And so about a third of the way...
It becomes a movie.
It becomes more like a movie.
Okay.
And because they are actually supposed to be cameras actually floating in the space that the action is occurring, there is apparently some special effects shots that are unlike anything we've ever seen.
This film was done on an extraordinarily low budget. I do want to say this. It looks really serious when you see the trailers, but I want to kind of lighten up on it a bit because it is only PG-13.
Right.
So I think for those of you that are looking for something fun and exciting to go see, this could actually foot the bill really, really well. I'm excited to see because they're saying that the level of special effects are much better than what the budget would allow.
Right. Well, my only fear of this movie is, things like Columbine are real issues.
Right.
We don't like to. That doesn't make a good movie for most people. It's not something people enjoy watching. We don't enjoy being exposed to that sort of thing. It's uncomfortable. And my fear is part of the story of this movie is that it's three kids that get the superpowers, and at some point one of them goes bad.
Right.
And my fear is that at some point in this movie, it may have a moment where he goes bad on his school. Now, I don't know that is the case.
But it could be disturbing.
That is my concern.
I will say that the moment he goes bad is on the trailer. I thought that was interesting that they would put that in the trailer. They're together having a good time, and they're in this... in their car, they're in like a little compact car, and a Jeep pulls up behind them and starts flashing its lights and honking, and it's raining out, and he looks in the back and he just goes like this. And when he does, the whole Jeep just kind of veers off the road and smashes into a lake, and they're looking at him saying, did you do this on purpose? We have powers, but we're not bad guys. What are you going to give it? What are you giving it?
I'm going to give this one a grade. I want to see it.
I am also giving this a grade. I think if you're going to see only one film this weekend, and I hope everybody's going to see 2 or 3.
Sure.
You know, we are the movie guys, so, you know, I hope you will go see this and The Woman in Black. But if you're only going to see one, I actually think this one looks more interesting to me than The Woman in Black. I picked Chronicle as the film of the weekend to go see.
I would absolutely agree.
I don't know that it'll debut really high up on the.
No, I actually think Woman in Black will
I do too.
will top the box office.
It's gonna ride the Daniel Radcliffe
Absolutely.
Star Train.
The chicks dig the Harry Potter.
Anyway, there you have it. This concludes our show.
I think it went pretty all right.
I think it went pretty all right. And until next time, I'm Rob, and I love Cleveland.
I'm the Slinky, and I love Cleveland.
Let's all love Cleveland together. Good show.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was fun.